Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, the pilot who wrote The Little Prince. The fascinating life of the man behind a literary classic. It is only with the heart that one can see rightly. What is essential is invisible to the eye. These words from The Little Prince have touched millions of hearts around the world. But who was the man behind this masterpiece? Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was not just a writer, he was also a pioneering aviator, adventurer, and war hero. His incredible experiences in the skies inspired his books, filling them with themes of friendship, loneliness, and the search for meaning. But his own story is just as fascinating and just as mysterious as the Little Prince himself. Let's dive into the life of the pilot, dreamer, and storyteller who gave us one of the most beloved books of all time, Early Life. A boy who loved stories and the sky. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was born in 1900 in Lyon, France. As a child, he was curious, imaginative, and fascinated by airplanes. At that time, aviation was still in its infancy, but he dreamed of flying. His childhood was marked by tragedy. His father died when he was just 4 years old. However, he escaped into books and drawing, developing a deep love for storytelling. Becoming a pilot, adventure in the skies. In his early 20s, Antoine joined the French Air Force and became a pilot. This was the beginning of his lifelong passion for aviation. He worked for a company that delivered mail by plane across dangerous routes, including Africa and South America. Flying in the 1920s and 1930s was incredibly risky. Pilots faced sandstorms, crashes, and mechanical failures. Some of his incredible experiences include crashing in the Sahara Desert and surviving with almost no water, flying over the Andes Mountains in South America, barely avoiding disaster, writing letters to friends about the beauty and loneliness of the sky. His flying experiences became the inspiration for his first books, including Night Flight and Wind, Sand, and Stars, which described the life of early pilots and the philosophical lessons they learned. The creation of The Little Prince in 1943, while living in exile in the United States during World War II. Antoine wrote his most famous book, The Little Prince, Le Petit Prince. Why is The Little Prince so special? It is a children's book that speaks to adults, filled with deep meaning. The story follows a young prince traveling from planet to planet, meeting strange characters. It explores themes of love, loss, friendship, and seeing the world with an open heart. The Little Prince's planet, B612, was inspired by Antoine's memories of his childhood. One of the most emotional parts of the book is when the little prince meets the fox, who teaches him about love and relationships. This moment has become one of the most famous literary passages ever written. You become responsible, forever, for what you have tamed. But The Little Prince was more than just a book. It was Antoine's own story, filled with messages about his life, dreams, and the struggles of being human. World War II, the final flight. During World War II, Antoine de Saint joined the Free French Air Force to fight against Nazi Germany. Although he was already in his 40s, which was considered old for a pilot, he insisted on flying dangerous reconnaissance missions. On July 31, 1944, he took off on what would be his final flight over the Mediterranean Sea. He never returned. His plane disappeared without a trace, leading to many theories and mysteries about what happened. Some believe he was shot down by enemy forces, while others think his plane had a mechanical failure. His body was never found, adding to the legend of his life. In a poetic way, Antoine de Saint became like the Little Prince disappearing into the stars. The legacy of Antoine de Saint. Even though he disappeared, his impact on literature and aviation remains enormous. The Little Prince has been translated into more than 500 languages, making it one of the most translated books in history. His books continue to inspire pilots, writers, and dreamers around the world. His philosophy about life, friendship, and adventure remains timeless. Today, His name is honored in airports, museums, and schools, and his book is still read by millions. Key vocabulary and expressions. Aviator, a person who flies an aircraft. Pilot, reconnaissance mission, a military flight to gather information. Exile, being forced to live outside one's country. Philosophical, related to deep thoughts about life and existence. Legacy, the lasting impact of a person's work. Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was more than just a writer. He was a visionary, a pilot, and a philosopher. His adventures in the skies shaped his stories about love, loneliness, and the search for meaning. His mysterious disappearance only added to his legend, making him forever a part of the stars and the universe. So next time you read The Little Prince, remember, it's not just a book, it's the soul of the man who wrote it. Have you ever read The Little Prince? What is your favorite lesson from the book? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe for more inspiring stories about history, literature, and adventure.